Hi, everybody. So January in Colorado. Oh, our weather, you never quite know what we're going to get. I'm going to run you through our journal article review stage 2 research day. What you have on the screen here is the step-by-step guide. Even if you've done a million different researches in your life, you want to follow this for this particular assignment. So you can grab this. I'm not going to read everything in here because y'all are excellent readers. Instead, what I'm going to say is, here's everything that you need to make sure that you get an article that can be approved. Okay, a couple things. When you are in sorry, I'm multitasking. When you are in the database, I'm going to pop in the database here. Look at that, magic. Here is our database. There's a couple things I want you to know about the database. When you put in a term, it is not a smart engine. So your Google and some of the other search engines that you use, you type something in half-heartedly and it miraculously knows exactly what you're looking for. This database is not that smart. It will only search for exactly what you put into this little search box right here. So if you put disorder, it's only going to look for disorder. It won't look for disorders. It won't look for disordered, as in like disordered thinking. It won't do anything other than exactly what you put in here. So you might have to play around a little bit. If you're doing something, let's say with children, you can put child, you can put children, you can put kid, you can put kids, plural, because it'll be different for each of those. So when you're searching in here, you have to think about different terms that you might be able to use in order to find what it is that you're hoping to find. A little secret. Let's say that you're doing child or children or kids. What you can do is you can do child and then that little star or asterisk. That will give you child. It'll give you child's. It will, as in like possessive form. So child, child's, children, children's, possessive again. It will give you all of those options. So anything that starts with child or maybe even childhood would be included. So if that little asterisk helps you out, you can use that as well. Let's do disorder, and you can do, I'm going to do child because we want to find out childhood or children or something along those lines. You can hit search and it's going to tell you how many results you have. Now, the other thing that I want to show you is if you scroll down and you come to, it's going to look like this when you first get here. When you come to subject, click on that and then click show more. Okay, you're going to have this little pop-up box that comes. And what was it? I think it was like 10,000, 100,000, 116,000 hits or articles or sources that have to do with the topic that we chose. That's way too many to fish through. So I love this little box because it narrows things down so that you can get what you want. Okay, so you can look at mental depression. If that's interesting to you, go ahead and click it. That's going to give you 16,000, almost 17 different articles or sources to look at. If you really wanted to look at autism in particular, there are 5,000 articles pertaining to that. So go ahead and click whichever ones sound interesting to you. The more you click, the more you're going to get, so just be careful in how many you click. And then hit update, and then it's going to bring up your different articles. Okay, a couple different things. When you are searching, if you can't find the smaller idea, the more narrow topic that you presented to me and that I approved, so if you can't find your smaller topic, you can broaden it to the more general idea. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you said you wanted to do disorders, and specifically you wanted to do OCD and how it pertains to childhood. Okay. Now, if you're in the database and you just can't find anything that pertains to OCD in childhood, you can bring it back up to OCD and do anything about OCD and you're still good. Or you can bring it back up to disorders and you can even switch your disorder. As long as it's still a disorder, you're still approved. Okay? Some of you chose personality and then you chose a subtopic underneath personality. So maybe the development of personality in childhood, I think, was actually one that somebody did. If you can't find that, as long as it's about personality, you're still okay. If you get to searching and you're just not quite sure, shoot me an email. I'm happy to help you out there to make sure that you have something that can be approved. Okay. When you go into your article, again, the step-by-step directions are going to tell you what to look for and how to look for it. One of the things, actually, I don't want that one. Let's look at this one. When you come in and you click on your PDF full text, again, this is in the step-by-step if I'm moving too quickly. Let's see if it's going to let me in. Okay, good. In the step-by-step, let me bring it up here for you. Here's a big yellow star, and it's telling you to look for the following headings: methods or procedure, results, discussion or conclusion, and references. And then in big red print, we have, if all of these headings do not appear in your selected article, the article cannot be approved. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to show you this article again. Maybe, there we go. What you have to do is you have to scroll down into your article and notice how there are different headings throughout the article. You're going to look for, what was our first one? Our first one was methods. Let's see if there is a methods, and we are not seeing a methods in here. So if that's the case, if you don't see methods, throw this article out. You do not want to use it because it cannot be approved. The reason being, we want to use an article that is using humans. So make sure you're using humans and not animals. And we want to make sure that it is using the scientific method. And how do we know whether they're using the scientific method? It's because we have those headings in there. So let me look. I'm going to look really quick. This one might be a good one. Let me pull up this article. Click on the PDF full text again. I'm going to scroll through it, and here's an introduction heading. That sounds promising. Here is a heading that says methods. That's one of them that we needed, so I'm going to keep scrolling. Oh, take a look at the participants while you're scrolling. Make sure it is humans. Yep, they're humans. Scrolling down, we're going to see, dun, 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 dun. Keep going. This is a good one. What were the others we needed? There we go. Here it is. Results and discussion. Here are results heading. Scroll down. Here's a discussion heading, etc. Okay, so make sure those headings are in there. Again, if those headings are not in there, you cannot be approved. If you're not using humans, it cannot be approved. Let me come back here. I want to show you. One of the other things that I recommend in here is that your article is at least 10 pages long. And at first that sounds really long. However, when you look through an article, you're going to notice that the title page itself, half of it is the title and the abstract. So there goes half of a page. If we scroll all the way to the bottom of the article, what you will see is usually a couple pages of references. So references. This one doesn't have a lot of references, but most of them have a bunch of references. The other thing that you're going to see is that a lot of these have charts or graphs or images, and that takes up page space as well. So when it comes to choosing your article, you want to make sure that your article, one, is something that you can understand. So I'm going to beg you to please read through your article once you find one that you think you might like. Read through it and make sure it makes sense. One of the biggest complaints I hear from students is that the article is too difficult and therefore it's hard to summarize. So now is the time that you can control this. When you're writing your paper, it's a really bad time to try to control this. So right now, read your article, make sure it makes sense. If it does make sense, then you can move on. If you read it and it just isn't making sense, don't use that one. Your future self will thank you for getting rid of it and choosing a different article that actually does make sense. Okay. The other thing, as you're reading through it, see how much meat there is to the article. So what that means, what does that mean, meat? You are going to take this article and you are going to summarize it for 3.5 to 4 pages, only using this article. So you're not going to take multiple articles, put them together, mix it up, and then give a paper to me. Instead, what you're going to do is you're just summarizing this article. The purpose of that is to show that you understand journal research. Okay? So in order to assess that, we're going to summarize this article for 3.5 pages. What that means is that you have to have at least 3.5 pages worth of material. And so as you're reading through your article, think to yourself, is this enough information to summarize for 3.5 pages? If your article that you're looking at is, let's say, 8 pages long, 2 pages is references, the title page takes up a half of a page, and you have a bunch of charts in there, you might struggle to get that 3.5 pages. So don't use that article. Pick a different one that has a little more, again, meat to it. Okay? So make sure you understand it. Make sure it's nice and meaty and has a lot of information for you to summarize. Definitely make sure it has the headings with that big, remember, here's this big yellow star next to methods, results, discussion, and reference. Make sure it has those headings in your article. And make sure it's using humans. Okay? Don't use animals. Your future self will thank you. All right. Once you find an article that you like, make sure and save it. And then keep looking and come up with a backup article or 2. It's easier to do the search now when you're in the rhythm and in the motions. In the event that the article that you submit is not able to be approved for some reason. Okay? So what I recommend is right now searching for at least 1 is the minimum, but I would recommend 2 or 3 articles that again uses humans, has the headings, you understand it, and it's meaty enough. Go ahead and submit all of them to our assignment Dropbox. Tell me which one is your preference, which one is your second preference, which is your third preference, and then I will take a look at them and I will give you feedback that says your first preference is awesome, your second one can't be approved and here's why, or whatever. So if you can put in more than 1 article right now, that will help you in the future in the event your first one cannot be approved for some reason. Now again, you're only going to use 1 once it comes time to actually writing your paper, but for now, if you can choose more, then that gives you more to work with as you decide which article to use moving forward. Okay? I think that is everything. I hope that gives you some hints and some tricks to finding your article. Make sure it's interesting to you, because nothing worse than writing a paper about something that is just not interesting. That's boring and dull. So pick a good article that you won't mind reading over a couple times and summarizing for the next stage of the assignment. All right, questions, comments, concerns, anything, shoot me emails so that I can help you out. Otherwise, go have an awesome day.